going on, everybody? It's your boy Real back with another review, man. Oh, this one has been a long-awaited one. I made promises, I fell off on those promises. Oh, I'm so sorry. But anyway, this is Game of Thrones Season 3, Episode 2. I'm doing my best, people. I'm playing catch up. All right, now, this episode should have been called Ladies of Westeros because it was primarily surrounded about the women of Westeros this episode. They had the more impactful scenes, or the ones that had the most interest, I guess. They were the focus group. They were the focus ones in this episode. Now, let's start with our favorite Goonies, our little kids. We got Arya, we got the not the last remaining Baratheon, but the rightful heir Baratheon, right? And Fat Boy. So they escaped Castle Rock, and they're on their own. Now they hear some people rolling through, and, they try to hide. But of course they get located. Because we come to discover that this is the Brotherhood Without Banners. Or the Brothers Without Banners. I think it's the Brotherhood Without Banners. I don't know, it's a dope title. And it looks filled with some colorful characters. One dude who's very exceptional with the arrow. And one who appears to be the leader, he instantly notices, which is like foreshadowing, I suppose. When he sees Arya, he's like, oh, you're dangerous. And I know dangerous people. Now, she has caught a body, right? And she does recite the people that she has intentions on killing. But we haven't seen Arya reach any sort of potential outside of survival and her wits. But he lets us know that she's a very dangerous person. He can sense it. He got that aura on her, and it lets us know. It gives us a little clue into who we all know her to be. One of our favorite assassins later on. Now, they are not forced, but definitely forced to roll with them. Right? These guys just was like, okay, they put it together quickly. Y'all got Castle Forge Steel, and Castle Rock is not too far away. So you escaped. All right, cool. You're coming with us. We're going to go ahead and feed you, and you're going to roll. So now our Goonies are off with the Brotherhood Without Banners, and they start a new journey, I guess. But what I liked about them walking together, that when Arya shared with them that she could have had any, what, was it 3 people? Any 3 people killed? How he was just clowning her like, you could have got so many people. You could have killed Joffrey, Cersei, and she's just like, shut up. Like, he expresses the elephant in the room. Like, many of us had that conversation. Like, she is just throwing away these important deaths. Like, I believe that he could take these people out. He says it'll take some time for some people, some a little faster. But yeah, I think we've all had that discussion after watching that episode when he was like, I'll kill any 3 people you want. I know we had them lined up like, oh yeah, Joffrey got to go. Some of y'all probably said my boy Tywin, because y'all are monsters. Y'all don't understand a dad's love for his kid. But I thought that was funny. And I like how they addressed the obvious. It was a really cool way. They made light of it, of a very serious situation. He was like, you could have ended the war. Like, no, you wasted that. So I really did enjoy that conversation. But not more than the conversation between Sansa and Lady Tyrell. Now, Sansa is taken aback by, what's that boy's name? Marjorie's brother. All right, she's got a thing for him. She has no idea what he's into. Because Sansa's just a clueless girl. She's just been flying by the seat of her pants, just doing what she can to survive. Like, I just cannot express enough how hard. Like, it's so easy for y'all to be like, what y'all would have done in her situation. But to keep it a buck, man, you don't know what you would do. And when you really want to live, and you in a world where everybody is on level 100, and you just created your character. Like, you have nothing. You came into this game with nothing and you're learning on the go. You ain't read the manual like most of us don't. You just picked up the controller and start button mashing. Okay, and that's what she's doing. That's what a lot of us will be doing. So miss me with the Sansa hate. Alright? It just is what it is. So now, Lady Tyrell and Marjorie has called for her because they want to have a chit chat. This conversation is like, hey, Lady Tyrell actually reminds me of my grandmother. That's why I think I love her so much. Just brash, not what you expect a older woman to be like, a grandmother, like the straight talk. Like, I'm too old to play around, to play with my words. Okay? Shit is boring. I have limited years left, so I'm going to fucking do what I want, essentially. Like, and that's power in a sense. It's power in not giving a fuck. Like, that, can you imagine that freedom? The freedom of stress and high blood pressure if you just simply don't give a fuck. Like, I'm not gonna do what you expect, you know what I'm saying, a lord or a lady to do. Like, it is what it is. So, Sansa's like, wow, like, I've never, you know, this is like the only honest woman here. Like, she just picked up on that vibe. So when they sit at the table and Lady Tyrell is like, yo, tell us about this boy, Joffrey. What kind of dude is he? And Sansa runs the script. He's just, he's the king. He was very protective. He's just the greatest. And they're like, yeah. And Marjorie's like, grandmama, she is scared. Like, look at her. Like, she's terrified. Like, Marjorie is really masterful too. Like, this is a debriefing of Joffrey, if you will. So somehow they get her to drop her guard. I think Lady Tyrell is just built like that. And Sansa comes with the truth, like, he's a monster. Okay? They weren't going to kill my father. It was him who ordered it. And it was him who made me go check out my father. Right? And the way Marjorie looked over at her grandmother just with okay, the rumors are true. He is what we thought he was. Cool. Now we know how to move forward. Right? So we see the Tyrells making a plan on how to deal with Joffrey. Because there is one unsuccessful lady that is currently attempting that. And that's the woman who gave birth to his evil, monstrous ass. Cersei is in there while he's getting dressed. And he's like hyper masculine for such a soft kid. I don't want no flowers on me. And Cersei is trying to, weave her little web of, yo, what do you think about Marjorie? He's like, yeah, she cool people. Joffrey like, I mean, it is what it is. But she's like, but why do you think she wants to be with the commoners? And what's gonna, like, trying to not tell him, but try to push him to his own, asking him leading questions so that he can come up with some, don't trust her. That's the only thing Cersei was trying to do. Like, don't trust this woman. I don't like her. She's got her own agenda, and I don't know what it is yet, but it can't be good for us. That's all she knows. She's got that feeling. And Joffrey ain't trying to hear that shit. Joffrey's like, look, she gonna play a woman's position like you should be doing. Shut the fuck up over there unless you're trying to help me find the perfect sash for my shoulder. Okay? Cersei quickly learns, like, there is no getting through to this kid. I bet she's regretting ever allowing him to ascend the throne. Like, you know what? But she didn't have too many options. She really didn't. Cause if which brother am I thinking about? Not Renly, which is a funny joke that Jaime had for him. I thought was fucking hilarious to kick this off. But god damn it, I can't think of his other brother. The crazy one with the red witch. So yeah, he wouldn't have been no better. He would have actually probably been worse. I didn't think it could get worse than Joffrey. He probably wouldn't have been worse to the people, but Cersei probably wouldn't have fared too well had he been king. So this is the best of a bad situation for her. But oh yeah, that Jaime joke where he was talking to Brienne as they're traveling. He's like, I bet if that throne was made of cock, you couldn't get Renly off that seat. I was in tears. That is a funny fucking... That was just funny. Jaime had me dying. But we see they run into, like, this random merchant, I guess. And Jaime is pressing her to, like, kill him. Like, hey, look, he knows me. I read his energy. And Brienne is not perceptive. And it's kind of a toss up in the air. But he's letting her know, like, look, man, I'm really famous. Like, I'm Jamie. Like, you can't just, if you're really trying to make this thing happen, maybe, just maybe, we should go ahead and take care of this dude. But Brienne is very honorable. She's not going to murder anybody she doesn't feel she doesn't have to if they don't attack her. So that's got to play out. And, Brienne is just too gullible. And you saw that she's emotional because Jamie, when he was saying them jokes about Renly, she wasn't having that shit. And he discovered that she was in love with him. And that was something I missed in my millionth walkthrough until Jamie said it, like it's her reaction. And it's like, oh, I just thought she really wanted to be like the first lady King's Guard, like making history, like I'm her. Like she just is huge and she's always got something to prove. So I thought that was just a big accomplishment for her. But yeah, in retrospect, she probably did kind of love Renly. Like it was that the crying she did for him when he dropped wasn't a cries of I failed, more so than it was my unrequited love is here dead. And yeah, so I thought that was interesting. What else? What else was interesting this episode? Shay. More ladies of the Westeros. So Shay is in there coaching Sansa about, Littlefinger, not to trust him to come with me with information if he tries to do something. And she's like, "What you gonna do, Shay? What you gonna do?" She said, "I'm gonna make him stop." And Sansa you can see Sansa is falling in love with Shay because she's giving her that protective mom vibe. Like, Sansa feels like Shay is somebody in her corner, and finally, I have somebody that fucks with me, like is looking out for me, that doesn't want anything from me. Which Shay legit doesn't want nothing from her. Like Shay went from not wanting to work with Sansa to realizing Sansa's in some real danger, and then filling in like this big sister role, like a protective big sister. Like she just grew to really fuck with Sansa like that. And it made me feel good. It was heartwarming to see that smile on Sansa's face. I'm like, oh damn, girl, you fuck with me. Like you a rider. Like, okay, you little, like Shay a little hoe, but she don't know that. She thinks Shay is just she's a whore with a heart of gold. That Shay. And then when she comes, which is another one of my favorite scenes, Tyrion, if I had to do an award for a person listed in most favorite scenes, it'd probably be fucking Tyrion. He's up there. Like almost every scene he's in is like a show stealer. The only competition he has is Tywin. Tywin scenes are he doesn't waste a scene in these seasons. Every time he opens his mouth, it's some wow. Lady Tyrell is going to be somebody who develops into a scene stealer. Other than that, there's not too many people, man. Robb never has personality. Jon Snow doesn't have. He's just so goofy. Like they have the action scenes, yes. Like they have the good action scenes, but when it comes to dialogue and acting and like quotables, you're not looking to those gentlemen for quotables. It's not happening. So yeah, it's tight between Tyrion, Tywin. Lady Tyrell's a dark horse in that. Cersei. God, yeah, Cersei. Cersei's a scene stealer. For sure. But yeah, I digress. But yeah, so Shay is discussing her worries about Sansa to Tyrion and trying to get him to help her. Like, yo, look after Littlefinger. I know you got some pull. You got a little plug. Do what you can. I don't trust him. He's trying to figure out, like, well, what the fuck? Like, talk to me. Like, what's happening? Like, Tyrion is too focused on getting back on top. He has zero power. His father treated the shit out of him. Like, treated his entire life. It was probably the most brutal tongue lashing in cinematic history. Like, I've never seen somebody despise something and awkwardly love something at the same time. Like, it was really, And I mean, this is over Precious. Like, that was some rough ass scenes. But I don't think no scene from Precious equals up to what Tywin told Tyrion in that room. That's some reaching the core of your soul. Like, yeah, physical pain heals. But like reaching in there and like, oh, give me all your hope, all the good son, all the we could one day love each other. Oh, dad could hug me one. Let me take just that little bit of corner of your heart that may have had hope that we could be a loving father son duo. You could give me a third of the love that you have for your other children. Just let me. He went in there and just fucking whoosh, Hannibal Lectered that shit. Ate the heart with some fava beans and a nice fucking Chianti. Like, it's just brutal, brutal scene. But yeah, so he's trying to scramble, so he's not focused on Sansa, nothing like that. But I love how when Shay tells him, like, yeah, it's a red haired woman that works with Littlefinger, he's like, oh yeah, Rosalind, yeah, I know her. And Shay's like, you fucked her. I thought that was hilarious. Like, she picked up on that instant. He's like, what? Oh my. He's like, okay, yeah, okay, fuck it. Yeah, I had sex with her before. Once before. Okay, maybe a couple times. And then Shay gets mad, like, what the fuck? And he's like, look, that was before you. I had a past. Like, I love how Shay is a ho-ho. Like, that's her profession. But yet she can still get jealous at a man who purchases hoes. I would like to see that body count. Tyrion versus Shay. They body counts. It would be that'd be one of the battles for the ages. That'd be the epic battle at Whore Bridge. Like, which one is the biggest hoe? Like, I would like to see them body counts. Right now, Tyrion is blowing her out, but that's because the only ones we can see. We don't know about Shay's path, and she traveled a long way. It's a lot of goddamn money to go from where she came from to make it all the way to goddamn Westeros. So let's not play her like she ain't that, right? But I like how she gets that little jealous. It's almost giving you a belief like they in a real relationship. Like, this is so cute. Like, she gets jealous, but she's not really jealous, but she kind of is. And you just want to be like, oh, look at Tyrion finding love. Because we always want the best for our man. We want him to be happy like this. And then he's talking like, oh, and then she's like expressing her fear for Sansa's well-being. And he's like, oh, she's a beauty and this, and there'll be several men. And Shay's like, what the fuck you mean a beauty? Like, oh my God, you want to smash Sansa too? Which, oddly, is some type of foreshadowing as well. Because we see that he does grow to, once Sansa gets back up north, he does have a little thing, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to get there. We got many seasons to go. But yeah, Tyrion has a little thing for Sansa, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. That's why I'm so glad I get to rewatch this again. But yeah, so she gets mad at him about that, like, oh, you disgusting. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, you asked me about this. Like, I just asked you about her. I ain't asked you to say she was beautiful and all that shit. We just see my man fucking up. Tyrion I think he's got 0 W's against Shay. I think between Shay and Tywin is the only time he loses. That's very interesting. That Shay and Tywin are the only two that Tyrion loses to. Message! That should let us know something. That's also some type of foreshadowing. I haven't seen Tyrion lose to anybody. Not Lady Stark, not the crazy psycho at the as 16-year-old son breastfeeds still. Like, not her crazy ass. Like, not the dude that was beating him with the hammer. Like, not even in war. Tyrion didn't even lose when he caught that buck 50 across the eye. Tyrion doesn't lose to anybody except Tywin Lannister and Shay of Horstown, Westeros. So I don't know. Something to think about. That they've been trying to throw this in our face this whole time. Because we eventually end up knowing what's happening. For those of you who have seen it. I thought that was interesting. It's a nice little... They be doing nice little things up in there. I bet y'all didn't even peep that. I think I went deep on that one. I have to applaud myself. Oh, what else happened? We see Bran is having a dream of walking and trying to shoot the third eye raven. The dude that he's been seeing in his dreams actually rolls up on him and lets him know, like, look, I'm your destiny. We've traveled far on some mysterious kid shit, like the supernatural Goonies. So we got the original, we got the Goonies of Arya and them. Then we got the supernatural Goonies, the weird brother and the warrior sister. So that's interesting. And the fact that the wolf didn't like murder him right on the spot for walking up on Bran, he's like, oh, this kid's different. So we know he's got some shit about him. Also, what's one of note? We got, oh my God, we do have a really good scene with Lady Stark. How could I not talk about this? So Rob's new wife, I can't think of her name. Doesn't matter. She pulls up on Lady Stark trying to bond, if you will. And it looks like Lady Stark is making like a dream catcher. That's what I'm pulling from it. And oh, girl asks if she can help, and then she explains how only a mom can do this. Almost like she's brushing her off, but she's in her own angrily little way is explaining to her what it means to be a mother. And when she asks her did it ever work, she tells the story of Jon Snow, the baby, the bastard baby who came home, who she wished death on, and then got sick, deadly ill. Then she felt like shit, so she begged the gods to save the stupid baby, and she said she would promise to love him, take care of him, and be the mother to him that he deserves, because it's not his fault. He hasn't even seen his mom. He has nothing to do with what you think Ned was out there doing on campaign. And when Lady Stark said, and then when she asked her like, what happened with the baby? He lived. Jon Snow lived, but yet and still I could not follow through with that promise. And I think with that comes all this bullshit with my kids. And I said, you goddamn right, Lady Stark. You done asked the gods. You say, hey guys, could you take this motherfucker from me? And the guy's like, you know what? Lady Stark's been loyal. All right, Ned did have some bastard baby. Okay, we could give her this one. This is an easy one. You know, just take this baby on out of here. Whoop, whopping cough. Give him something. Give him something to take care of him. And then they was like, you good, lady? And then she was like, no, this ain't really what I wanted. He was like, oh my God. And the guys looked at each other like, this bitch she want us to take the hex off of him. Like, look, man, I ain't taking no hex off this dude. All right, she been begging for it, so you hear the guys having the conversation. And they're like, come on, man. This was wrong for her to even ask. It was wrong for you to go through with. So fuck it, we'll just go ahead and take it off. She promised to be a good mama. All right, now this is her final request. And then as the years went past, they was watching like, yo, this bitch has been a pretty terrible mom to him. Like, yeah, this is not what she promised us. That was strike 2 and 3 for the gods. I was like, all right, we got something for you. Bran out the window. All right, Jon Snow gone. Boom. Your kids may or may not be murdered. I don't know. Your husband dead. Sansa terrified. King's Landing. All right, Arya missing. Learning the ways of the road. Pretending to be a boy. Your life is fucked. Maybe you should just love that baby, Lady Stark. Kept playing with the fucking gods. Look what it got you. Look what it got you. Should just shut the fuck up. So, thought that was interesting. And I was like, wow, maybe that is why all this terrible things has happened to Lady Stark. Could be, I mean, the gods are a thing. They are a thing. And we could wrap up with Jon Snow, actually, out there beyond the wall. He's getting closer to the king beyond the wall. And he was explaining to us how he had so many different clans and how he was able to unite them and just let them know, like, we're going to fucking die. So we need to get south of the wall. Does that sound good to everybody? And everybody in their several different languages who hate each other was like, so he was like the original Cyrus from the Warriors. Like, he united all the gangs of north of the wall to like come together. But there was no piece of shit dude in the crowd to mow him down. So he's still out here doing his thing. But John is learning more. He's learning what a morgue? Somebody who talks to animals and sees animals. And he saw a bunch of dead crows. Then we see Tully with the crows marching. They not dead. So he must be in the future, or they took us back to where before they get killed. And Tully, when the grand master, grand somebody, whatever, when he comes and steps to Tully and tells him, this was a lot of foreshadowing in this episode. He looked at Tully and said, "I forbid you to die. You cannot die. Period. So get your fat ass up and let's go." That's telling. That means if dude saw a bunch of dead crows, he's telling Tully he's not allowed to die. That's exactly what Tully ain't gonna do, is die. And not only die, but he's gonna make it to the end of this motherfucker. So they throw a lot out there at us this episode that would have been brushed over if I wasn't looking deep into detail and knowing. So the rewatch is awesome. So I hope you're happy I finally got you that Game of Thrones, man. With that, protect your health, yourself, your wealth, man. Your boy Rel's out of here. Peace. Yo, I know I don't need no introduction, but y'all know who it is, man. It's your boy Hollywood Rail, and I appreciate you for sliding through and watching these videos. But you know what I need from you? All right, if you ain't already, I need you to like this and subscribe this, man. We at 1,000 trying to get to 2, all right? Push it for your boy. Get them algorithms up. So when it come to that subscribe button,